Just 2 days after returning to the country from United States of America, unable to meet with the president at the State House, Abuja, the very embattled former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Honorable Obasa, there his colleagues insisting that he remains the Speaker of the State House of Assembly in Lagos. This is just as the state lawmakers ask the residents of the state to ignore the rantings of the former speaker, warning him not to heat up the polity. Now, when he was addressing a crowd over the weekend at his official residence at Ikeja, Obasa, who represents Agege, insisted that his impeachment did not follow due process. According to him, the election of Honorable Mijosola as a new speaker did not follow the law, declaring his removal null and void. Now, this embattled lawmaker alleged that a fake mess was used to install Marina as a speaker, adding that hundreds of policemen invaded the assembly on the day of his removal to intimidate his loyalists. Obasa also alleged that some policemen invaded his official residence on the same day and prevented some members of his family in the house from coming out. While vowing to resume as Speaker, Obasa also said he would challenge his removal in the court. Hello everyone, welcome to Big Talk live from nation's capital. And I just say of power as well, a lot of development politically, economically as well. At the National Assembly, they have actually adjusted the days of a plenary resumption to give room for more ministries, departments, and agencies of government to defend the budget proposal for 2025 allocations. All of that has continued to be some development within the aspect of the legislators and also seeing what they could do in addressing the problems and the challenges of the nation for 2025. On the part of some Nigerians have continued to react in respect to the current telecom tariff hike, which the sector has really, many said, it looks at, yes, because of the prevailing situations, economic challenges, can the telecom sector survive a hike of about 50% that have been approved by the federal government? That has continued to be a more concerned conversation within the country. But with respect to political parties as well, the PDP are still having their fair share of their crisis. The Labour Party crisis is still on, intensifying with much effort from the many camps of the Labour Party wing in respect to seeing what they could do in resolving the problems of that nation. But tonight, we'll be looking at issues of Lagos State. He looks at the former Speaker Obasa that have been rejected by his colleague is challenging back, is fighting back and saying that his removal was illegal. It didn't pass through a lot of process. And according to the speaker, this is more of him being outsmarted without the law and the proceedings that ought to be followed before his removal. And he made instances and citing some concern as to what it really means by that. All of that has continued to be a development in respect to the nation. But we must also find a balance to this. On what grounds, what is the concern of Speaker Obasa with other members of the House of Assembly? Can one man fight other members of the House of Assembly? He said he has been a speaker for almost 10 years and has also been in the House of Assembly for almost 20 years as well. He also said that some policemen invaded his private residence in Agege. They also blocked the gates to his official residence while they prevented some members of his family from going out of the house. He said, I am not afraid of being removed. I have been a member of the House for almost 22 years and a speaker for almost 10 years, and I think I've contributed my quota. That is the words of former Speaker Obasa of Lagos State. But why did they have to break the chamber and use the fake mess to carry out that removal? He has also alleged very strongly on that grounds. I'll be joined by a political analyst from Lagos tonight. Conversation on Big Talk to extract that development. Is it trying to heat up the polity of Lagos? Is this all after about the politics of 2027? These are the questions and the concerns of many who are watching this political development in Lagos State. We'll now also turn attention tonight to look at the Southeast in respect to the insecurity and the development. Government are intensifying effort to resolve the problem of the Southeast. They have also raised concern of even creating the Southeast Development Commission to address the many problems of the Southeast. But recently, some youth stakeholders representing some various youth organizations across the Southeast geopolitical zone has pleaded with President Bola Tinubu to release from incarceration the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The group, which also convened an emergency meeting, said after an in-depth discussions on the prevailing issues affecting the Southeast region, they appeal for the presidential intervention in the long issues of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That has continued to be a development. But would the release of Nnamdi Kanu resolve all of the problems, the wanton killings from the Southeast, the destructions, our rate of kidnapping, and all of those insecurity that is increasing day by day within that geopolitical zone of this country? Tonight, we'll be extracting that development. What are the voices like? Are the Southeast also making moves to resolve that issue within the Southeast? That will be also top of the discussion tonight on the program. Do sit tight, everyone. And once we return from the break, the discussion continues. Joining us tonight to express some of this concern from the Southeast agitation for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and the development within that region is political philosopher Tony Ezemo Prince is live here on the show. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes.
Good evening, Nigerians.
Thank you. A lot of development has happened. I mean, prior to last time we had that conversation, the president and this government said, we have granted Southeast Development Commission to resolve all of the problems. And those are said. I mean, all of that was on the table of the previous government, but it looks like this government have been decisive enough to take that bold step. Would you say that the preparations and the plans to kick off and all of those things can really address the problems of the Southeast? Because on the other side, people are saying release Nnamdi Kanu, all the problems will be resolved. Which way to go?
Well, we are hoping that the whole issues will be carried along side by side. The issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is released, somebody like me will not stop talking about his release. Because I know that a lot of miscreants, a lot of criminals in Igbo land are killing our people, causing all sorts of mayhem, destroying properties and lives on account of the fact that the federal government is still holding in Nnamdi Kanu. We are pleading to the federal government, to the president of Nigeria, to the father of the nation, to please look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu from a political angle. Like I said last time I was here, I said that a couple of our fathers in Igbo land have pleaded, and some of them are no longer alive. Someone like the Professor Ben Nwabeze, he went to the villa, he pleaded with the former president, General Buhari, to release Nnamdi Kanu to him. Today, Ben Nwabeze is no longer alive. The man will be crying, turning in his grave, seeing that Nnamdi Kanu is still languishing in a DSS detention. Chief Umezoke went to the villa alongside the immediate past president of Aheneze Ndigbo, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu. Both are all dead. So what I am pleading as a young man is that the federal government should look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu politically and then release him. And when we now discover that even the court has granted him bail and the DSS is still holding him, it becomes more palpitating. It becomes more worrisome. So we want Nnamdi Kanu to be released. We are pleading with the president to release him, so that some of the criminals in Igbo land who are killing people, claiming that they are doing so, which Nnamdi Kanu has even come to say that he didn't send these people. I know I've heard from Nnamdi Kanu 2 times, saying that he never sent these guys to be killing anybody on his behalf. But they are doing so on his behalf. We want him to be released so that all other issues around Southeast can move ahead. Recently, my group, I have a group, Southeast Stakeholders, Youth Stakeholders Forum. I think it was 2 days ago, we granted a press conference pleading with the president to release Nnamdi Kanu. And we want to believe that the president has shown over time that he has listening ear. He has shown that he has the interest of Ndigbo at heart. Because when you look at some of the things he is doing, some of the decisions he has taken within this short period of his presidency, you see that he is not like the previous administration that said Ndigbo didn't vote for him. But President Ahmed Bola Tinubu has really shown that he has the interest of Ndigbo at heart, and we are pleading with him alongside many other things, many other good things you have done for the Igbo nation. Please release this man. Let us now take the argument further. And certainly, I believe that if Nnamdi Kanu comes out today, he will not be the Nnamdi Kanu of the past. He might have had a couple of other perspectives about Nigerian state and will now want to come to a negotiating table to negotiate.
So you're saying that they should find political solutions to these issues?
That is very, very important, and that is what every other reasonable Igbo youth is saying today.
All right. I mean, let's take forward that those are fields. We have state governors within that region as well. What are the roles of the state governors in resolving all of the insecurity? Because if you look at the case study in Anambra, I mean, there have been very traumatic commentary coming from that state in respect to kidnapping and all of that. Can all of that still be held on to the fact that until Nnamdi is released? Because if we have governor as the chief security officer of the state, they ought to also be playing their role, even when we are trying to say, okay, fine, let's get the solution to all of this.
No, I don't think the governors should be complacent, waiting for Nnamdi Kanu to be released before they perform their duties.
Well, are you worried about that?
Yes, I'm very much worried that a couple of governors are very complacent about their duties. In fact, like Anambra, you used as an example, until a week ago, Anambra was practically a killing ground. It was just about a week ago that the governor decided to wake up from his slumber. He had a bill that he sponsored. It was an executive bill, he sponsored it, and within a day, they read it the first time, second time, third time, and then the next day, it was passed into law, Anambra Homeland Security Bill and all that. And then we saw the governor now, boldly facing these criminals in Anambra as it is now. Though a lot of stakeholders are saying that he's doing that because this is an election year for us in Anambra. He will be, the global election is coming up around November this year, and he just woke up this January to fight insecurity. But I can agree, to his credit, so far so good. Within these few days, he woke up from sleep. And a couple of criminals have been apprehended, and that is what I'm saying to the rest of the governors. If there are any one of them who is still sleeping, they should not continue to wait for the federal government to release Nnamdi Kanu. As much as I know that we must continue to clamor for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, because I do not know the crime that he has committed that the bail that was granted to him should not be given him. So the governors, they should sit up and behave as chief security officer. They have billions of naira as so-called security votes. They should put those billions into action so that the lives and the properties of the people will be secured.
With the notion that the Southeast is marginalized as you strive currently in Nigeria?
Well,
because why I'm asking that is because look at appointment, inclusivity as well, the concern of also granting the Southeast Development Commission, all of that. Those who feel, it looks at this president has your region at heart, and there shouldn't be politically a statement like that inciting comments that the Southeast are marginalized, or you have on that flip side.
No, as far as Ndigbo of today is concerned, this very president has done for the Igbo nation what many of the president could not even do, including even our brother Bello Jonathan. All right? The president came in, mind you, that the Southeast Development Commission bill was not sponsored under this, was not just sponsored under this 10th Senate. It was actually sponsored in the 9th Senate, but they threw it away because the president could not assent to it. All right? Now, in the 10th Assembly, within this short period, Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, the late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, sponsored the bill on the floor of the Senate. And I think it was Benjamin Kalu that sponsored it on the floor of the House of Representatives. And today, it is passed to law, and the president immediately assented to it. And not just that, the president went further to appoint the board that will oversee that commission. And then there is a release of about 35 billion for a takeoff. That tells you the president is really interested in the progress of the Southeast region. So today, politically, I wouldn't think there's an Igbo man who will come and tell you that the President Ahmed Bola Tinubu administration is marginalizing Ndigbo. No, we don't have that. If you look at the cabinet, Ndigbo is properly represented. Even in the service chiefs, we have one of our brothers from Enugu as one of the service chiefs, unlike what we had before, where you found no Igbo man sitting where they are discussing security issues in Nigeria. So the presidency of Ahmed Bola Tinubu has been fair to Ndigbo, to his credit, and I thank the president for, assenting to that bill, and then appointing the board members immediately, and then funding it, which is most importantly. And in the coming weeks, you will see that there will be employment within that very agency, that very commission, and all that. So the president has not really shown Ndigbo that he's a Yoruba man. He has only shown Ndigbo that he's a partner in progress, as far as I am concerned.
All right. Because Ume said, now that we have Southeast development, would that be the beginning of the convention of a robust development within that region?
I want to believe so. And the board will now stop on the table of members of that board to understand that they are there to work for the people. They are not there to answer executives and all.
Well, the reason I'm asking that is because we've had several development commissions.
That is because look, sometimes politicians, as much as I believe that the foundation of Nigeria's problem is the constitution, there's need for us to address the issue of Nigerian constitution, no doubt about that. But at the same time, Nigerian politicians have made a mess of the entire system. Unfortunately, very unfortunately, when somebody fails in Enugu, the blame will go to the president in Abuja. If somebody fails in Kano, the blame will go to the president in Abuja. It shouldn't be so. Now, the president has approved this commission, and he has set the ball rolling. By many Nigerians do not know that they have released billions of naira for Southeast Development Commission. This is for them to function and function optimally. So we are expecting that commission to be very holistic in their approach when it comes to matters that concern the great people of Southeast. It is no longer the problem of the president. As much as we are saying, for instance, Nnamdi Kanu should be released, it is the president that will do that. And many other things that the president can eventually do, but this one he has done it, and we need to appreciate the fact that he has done it, and then prevail on those he has appointed to oversee that very commission to function as expected. Because if they don't, and again, the president went further. One of the reasons why I feel I like President Bola Tinubu, I think the man is somehow trying to bring in regional government back to Nigeria. For instance, he made about 6 appointments, which called Senior Special Assistant to the President on Community Engagement. He has 6 of them in each of the regions, in each of the 6 regions. In the case of Southeast, he has Barrister Mrs. Chioma Nweze as the SSSP on Community Engagement Southeast. And their responsibility is not just to preach the renewed hope agenda of the Mr. President to the people of Southeast, but also to make sure that whatever the president, whatever policy, whatever wonderful policy the president has, will reach down to the grassroots people in their various regions. So it becomes their problem if they don't do all those that they're supposed to do, and not the president's problem.
Let's look at the sustainability of all of this, because it takes one man to start a job and for others to continue to carry in. One of these concerns might be the role of which we can play in that respect. Yes, we actually call on the governors with respect to security challenges as well. That those that we're criticizing on the membership, the constitution of the membership of that commission. I don't know if some quarters who had some fears and some concern were raised. Looking at how did they come up with the number? Were they properly consulted with the governors? And those are said, should we need governors to be involved? Should we need all of those quarters to be involved in those membership? That's one. And secondly, if we look at, the contribution of Southeast to the recent revelation about VATs, they said over 101.9 billion naira, but they received 341.45 billion naira. So it looks at critically, the southeastern states are contributing over 101.9 billion naira to the country's value-added tax. How is the economy really vibrant as we speak? Yes, we understand the challenges.
Well, the economy of the South is not so vibrant at the moment because we have a fundamental problem, which is security issue. And that is why we are calling on the president to really, if you release this man, we know that our security will improve. And we'll now hold the governors accountable. All right? When you have serious insecurity problem in a state, every other sector in that environment stands still. So outside that, Ndi Igbo are very entrepreneurial people. We all know that. Even if you go in this Abuja, you see that the commercial people, the very entrepreneurial people are more of. There was a time, okay, not just the time, when we had service of song of Senator Ifeanyi Ubah here in Abuja, the Senate President graciously said that after the war, Ndi Igbo started from the scratch. Remember, these are people whose money, millions of naira as it were all seized in the bank, and they were given only 20 pounds to begin life again. And within the shortest possible time, they were able to turn around and became great men in Nigeria. And in the words of Senator Akpabio, he said that Ndi Igbo made themselves. These are the only people in Nigeria who do not actually rely on politics to survive. That is why we do well in every sector, especially in business. So, but those businesses are not domiciled in Igbo land. If you go to Lagos, you see Ndi Igbo doing very, very well. If you come to this Abuja, even in Kano, even in Maiduguri, so we usually turn around every economy anywhere we find ourselves. But we are pleading that in the case of the South, we need to be given that secured environment. Secondly, and very, very importantly, there's need for the president to please look into creating a seaport in Igbo land. It is not a rocket science, and I don't believe it is too difficult to do. If you create a seaport in Igbo land, I mean, that axis, even beyond Igbo land, it will explode with industrialization and commercialization. This is a passionate appeal, and we are really making this appeal. There is a need for us to have a seaport in Igbo land. There are spaces for that, and we have river that if it is dredged, that very phenomenon will be achieved.
So when people criticizing the membership of the commission, what has been the reaction? Does it look that one party, like All Progressive Congress, your party had made up the list?
Well, the most important thing as far as that list is concerned, that those who are there are the good people of the Southeast. And the people should not forget that it is the prerogative of the president to appoint those who represent him in any parastatal, any agency, ministry. Are you getting me? I am aware that some members of the APC who feel that I'm the one that's supposed to be there, they are aggrieved, but everybody will not occupy there at the same time. We are pleading that those who are currently there, until their tenure expires, they should do what they are supposed to do. So I am expecting people, both the great people of Anambra, Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, and Enugu, to support the people that are there. And again, the governors have a role to play. The counterpart funding, I think it's about 15% of the counterpart funding should go to that commission, and they should make sure they do it, and then make sure that those who they gave the money work for the people. There's a whole lot to be done. Igbo land needs a whole lot of turnaround.
So, I mean, would you say the president was speaking, square pegs?
Well, those who are there, I know of the MD, Mark Okoye, is a very young man. He has not done so bad for himself, and he has been in government in Anambra State. In fact, he's one of the executives of Governor Soludo before he was picked. I want to believe that he should know what to do. Then the executives, the directors there, for somebody like Barrister Sylvester Okonkwo, who was the chief of staff to the Senate president at the time he was appointed, these are men whom I believe should know what to do. But I believe with the president, if they show signs of incompetence, they should be sacked and another group replaced. We need to see Southeast bubbling. They don't need to waste our time. They don't need to waste anybody's time. They just need to work and work and work.
Right, as we begin to wrap up the convention, a lot of persons are having concern in respect to how we can resolve all of this problem from the East. What is your last appeal before we wrap up on the show? Your last appeal before we wrap up on the show.
Yes, I will once again plead with the father of the nation, His Excellency, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, to please look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu politically, release him for us, and so that we go home and fix our place. I also plead with him once again to look into the creation of a seaport in Igbo land. There are so many other things that could be created in Igbo land. So many other things. A lot of people are even complaining about the gas pipeline that is not found anywhere in Igbo nation. There is need for a gas pipeline to run through the 5 states of the East. So we are pleading. The president has shown serious inclusiveness for Igbo. We want him, like Oliver Twist, we are asking for more, because we are an integral part of this nation. And Igbo are true believers of this one Nigeria. Because there is no town, no village you go to in Nigeria today without seeing an Igbo man doing exceedingly well, building the economy of that place. So we are true, we are true projectors of one Nigeria. So we should be treated as one.
I'm glad this time that the Southeast is not marginalized as rightly as you pointed out. Thanks so much.
Once they begin to marginalize us, we'll shout again. But this president is doing very well.
Maybe it will be a political statement for 2027. But now that you're enjoying the development, it's not marginalized.
Well, if you give a child what he is seeking for, he will stop crying.
All right.
But once you begin to deny a child, he will cry. He will cry.
Right. Thank you so much, Tony Ezemo, a political philosopher and commentator, for joining us on the show tonight and extract this development. Everyone, we'll now be turning attention to the Lagos State saga, the speakership struggle, the concern about what it means for Obasa to say, I am still the speaker. It was illegally performed, was illegally removed. They didn't follow the laws and the procedures. These are the concerns that the former speaker, whom just returned, has hit it back on the House of Assembly. But the House of Assembly said they should ignore Obasa completely. definitely he has no grounds to say that was illegality, because almost majority members of the House of Assembly stood with their actions and decision of the House of Assembly. Do stay with us on the show. We'll be connected by a political analyst from Lagos to extract this development.